Okay, hey guys. Thanks for joining me today. Today's class is, first of all, it's the first class that I've ever actually recorded and shared, so it may be hit or miss for you. But in the future, if you have any requests, you can let me know ahead of time, and I'll do my best to kind of cater to what you guys are feeling each week. So this week I thought we'd start nice and easy with just a short 30-minute flow focusing on hip mobility. I know a lot of us get really tight hips sitting down all day studying and whatnot, so hopefully this feels good today. Recommend putting on some soft music in the background, or if you need playlist recommendations, let me know. I've got quite a few. So yeah, so just get your mat and we'll go ahead and get started. So we'll just start today sitting on our shins, heels under our butts. And we'll just go ahead and close our eyes down, hands resting on the thighs. And just start to notice your breath here. Start to notice if you're feeling stressed, if you're feeling tired, and what that effect is having on your breath at the moment. It might be shallow, it might be deep, it might be fast, it might be slow. And then from here, we're going to start integrating a deeper breath. So inhaling to the count of 4, pausing for 4, exhale for 4, hold for 4. So ready, inhale 1, 2, 3, 4, hold 1, 2, 3, 4, exhale 1, 2, 3, 4, hold 1, 2, 3, 4, and again, inhale 2, 3, 4, hold 2, 3, 4, exhale 2, 3, 4, and hold 2, 3, 4. One more time, inhale 2, 3, 4, hold 2, 3, 4, exhale 2, 3, 4, hold 2, 3, 4. This time a deep inhale, expanding your lungs to full capacity. Hold at the top, and then try to inhale just a little bit more. Hold, and release with a big sigh. Take a couple deep breaths at your own pace, just noticing where the breath is sitting today. If you like to set an intention for your practice, you can go ahead and do so now. Otherwise, just think, happy thoughts. And ignore the dog barking if you can hear that. Okay, from here we'll go ahead and find all fours. So wrists are under our shoulders and knees under hips. Just kind of wiggling around in this space, feeling your wrists today. Maybe add some wiggles into your hips and see how your hips are feeling. Really just starting to notice where your body's at and to notice what might be stiff today. Hopefully we'll try and work through some of that stiffness. Just circling around your shoulders or around your wrists for a bit. You can reverse your hands as well, so turning your hands back towards your body might feel nice, a nice stretch on your wrists here. Just kind of leaning back and forward. And we'll get some cat-cows in to start integrating the spine. So bringing your fingers back to face the front of the mat. On your inhale, we'll find our cow pose, arching the back, or whatever you call this. Exhale, arching the back into your cat pose. Inhaling into cow. Exhaling cat. Inhaling cow. And exhaling cat. Start to roll your spine in this. So it doesn't need to be pretty. Just close your eyes and really just roll your spine around, arching it, tilting your tailbone back up to the sky. Maybe bringing your tailbone in a circle behind you, making these barrel rolls. Sometimes it's like doing yoga in a zoo. Animals crawling around me all the time. But just feeling into your spine. Maybe pushing some weight forwards into your fingertips and feel a nice deep stretch at the base of your neck. Can feel nice. And from here, keeping your toes tucked, sit onto your heels. So this will be a deep toe stretch. You may or may not feel a deep toe stretch, I should say. Might hurt your toes and the arches of your feet, but it's so good for you. If you do this every day, your feet will feel so much better. So try and sit here as long as you can. If you can't, just come off of your toes and sit onto your heels as normal. And we'll take some cat-cows here in this upright position. So interlacing your hands together at your chest, reaching forward and arching your spine, and then lifting your hands up to the sky and curling your chest forward. Bring your hands back in front of you, arching your spine. And then chest up to the sky again. A few more rounds like that, just at your own pace. Starting to bring your breath into your movements, inhaling as you reach your hands up and exhaling as your hands come out in front of you. Just warming up here. And when you're ready, hands back down to the ground. And we'll find our first downward dog of the day. So hips up and back. Now downward dog is one that a lot of people actually have trouble with. So I'm just going to review really quickly what I think is helpful in finding your downward dog. So first, if you come to a plank position, this will give you the good distance for how far your hands and your feet should be from each other in your dog. And from here, I'm pushing into my hands. I'm wrapping the eyes of my elbows forwards. And then I'm just lifting my tailbone up to the sky behind me. Okay, once I get in my downward dog position, I'm bending my knees and then refocusing on pulling my tailbone up to the sky, engaging my lower core so that my spine is nice and long and straight. And that's what's important, not that my heels are touching the ground. It should feel really nice on your back body. So sitting in your dog, start to pedal out your feet, feeling a nice stretch in the backs of your hamstrings, backs of your calves. And from here, rise your right leg up to the sky on your inhale. And as you exhale, bring your right leg forward, landing your right foot outside of your right hand. And then go ahead and drop your left knee, reaching your right arm up to the right and back, and just stretching into this twisted position. Breathing here, you should feel kind of a pull on your left hip flexor. So try and find that. And then exhaling, bringing your right arm back to the ground and straightening into your right leg. Just feeling that nice pull on your hamstring again. And then bending back into your right knee, lifting your left knee off the ground, and then pulling your left foot right outside of your left hand. So my feet are nice and wide. It's hard to tell in the camera view, so I'm just gonna turn real quick. But my feet are nice and wide in this wide-legged squat position, and I'll hold my arms out in front of me to counterbalance, okay? So you wanna be nice and deep in an active squat position here. Thinking about pulling your knees out to the side, okay? Activating your glutes, and then rising up, hands to heart center. Inhaling, hands overhead. A little arch in your back if you want. Exhaling back into our active squat, hands at heart center or out in front of you. And then dropping your hands down to the ground, stepping back into plank pose. And then we'll slowly lower on the count of 5 to the ground. 4, 3, 2, 1. Now bringing your hands back to your hips. We're going to rise our shoulders and our feet off the ground, rising our hands as well. So this is called locust pose. It's really good for strengthening the back body. And it's a nice alternative to upward facing dog, which can be really hard on your back. So this works too. And then bringing your hands back to the ground, we'll go back into our downward facing dog, rising the left leg up to the sky. And exhaling your left foot outside of your left hand, dropping the right knee. Reaching up and back with your left hand. Nice twist and stretch into the hip flexor. Sitting here for just a minute and feeling the stretch. And then exhaling your hand back to the ground. Straightening your left leg out. And then pushing back into your left foot. Right foot comes outside of the right hand. Deep, active squat. Legs nice and wide, knees pushing out, activating the glutes. Inhale, rise your hands to heart center. And hands overhead, adding a back bend. And finding your active squat again. Hands find the ground. Stepping back into our plank position, and then slowly lowering down to the ground. Hands back by your hips, and rising up into locust pose, thinking about pulling your chest upwards and forwards. Inhaling here, and exhaling, finding your downward facing dog. We're just gonna go through that flow a couple more times, a little bit faster. So inhaling your right leg to the sky, exhaling outside of your right hand. Drop your left knee. Right arm reaches up and back behind you. And then right arm comes back down to the ground, straightening into your right leg. Pulling through to your active squat, left hand outside of left foot. Inhaling here, exhaling, rising your hands to heart center. Inhaling your hands overhead. Exhaling back into an active squat. Inhaling your hands find the ground. Step back, plank, and slowly lower to the ground. Inhaling, locust pose. Exhaling, hands find the ground, downward facing dog. Inhale your left leg to the sky, exhale. Left foot outside of left hand, drop the right knee, reach up and back. Exhaling, straightening into your left leg. Inhaling, finding active squat, right foot outside of right hand. Exhaling, rising, hands to heart center. Inhaling, hands overhead. Exhaling, active squat. Inhaling, plank. Exhaling, slowly lowering. Inhale, locust pose. Exhale, downward facing dog. One more time, just like that. Inhaling right leg to the sky, exhaling right foot outside of right hand, dropping back knee, reaching up and back, nice stretch. And circling your arm back to the ground, straightening right leg. Left foot outside of left hand, rising, active squat. Exhale, hands to heart center. Inhale, hands overhead. Exhale, active squat. Inhale, hands find the ground. Step back, plank. Slowly lower. Inhaling, locust pose. Exhale, hands find the ground. Hips back, downward facing dog. Rise your left leg. Inhale. Exhale, left foot outside of left hand. Drop back knee. Stretch and reach hand overhead. And circling back down, stretching into your left leg. Breathing here. And then bringing your right foot outside of your right hand. Inhaling and rising into active squat. Exhaling, hands to heart center. Inhaling, hands overhead. Exhaling, active squat. Inhale. Step, step back. This time we'll do either slow lower or a full push-up if you can. So slowly down, back up. Then we'll drop our knees, drop our forearms and elbows, and then pull our body through, our chest through our hands, planting the tops of the feet on the ground, lifting the knees and finding upward facing dog. Exhaling, rolling back, downward facing dog. So just sitting in your downward dog for a moment, finding your breath again. You can always do the slow lowers to locust pose in our vinyasas. I'm going to cue the push-up variation from now on, but do whatever you want today. Doesn't really matter. So from here, we'll rise our right leg to the sky. And then bringing it forward, right foot right by right thumb, so in between your hands. Okay, dropping your back knee, and then just leaning back into your hips again, so stretching your right hamstring. And then we'll just kind of switch back and forth between pulling through into this lunge variation, and then stretching back into half splits. Inhaling, pulling through, rising your chest. Exhaling, stretching back, half splits. Inhaling, coming forward. Exhaling, stretching back. This time as you come forward, stay there. Rise your hands onto your right knee and start to push your right knee away as you dip your hips down to the ground and push them forward. Keeping your hips level, so I'm pushing my right hip or my left hip forward as I focus on pulling my right hip back. Feeling a nice stretch in the fronts of your hips here, the hip flexors, especially the left one. Just sitting here for a moment and embracing the stretch, the discomfort that comes along with it. And then when you're ready, we'll come back into our half splits. And then rising back forward into the lunge variation, this time lifting your left knee off the ground and finding a high crescent lunge. Breathing here. And then straightening both legs and folding over your right leg, finding extended pyramid pose. Hands find the ground, lifting your right leg up to the sky and just rolling through your hip, bringing your knee up and around behind you. A couple times like that. And then foot back to the ground. We'll slide forward into plank and come through our vinyasa. So full push-up, knees and forearms drop, pulling your chest through your hands. Feet find the ground, lift the knees. And exhale, rolling back, downward dog. Left leg rises and bring it forward between your hands. Dropping your knee, your back knee, and finding half splits again. And just transitioning again between our low lunge variation and our half splits. Just starting to warm up into the hip area. Back and forth. And then on your next time coming through, go ahead and stay there, rising your hands up to your right or to your left knee. And then bouncing your hips again. So pushing your right hip forward and you're pulling your left hip back. Thinking about pushing your hips down and forwards. Feeling a nice stretch in that front hip flexor area. And sitting here for just a moment. Hands find the ground and stretching back into your half splits. This time as you come forward into your lunge, rising your right knee into your crescent moon. I think that's what this is called, but no, it's crescent lunge. Finding your crescent lunge. And then straightening into both legs, leaning over your left leg. Find your extended pyramid pose. And then hands outside of your left foot, rising your left foot back behind you into three-legged dog and then rolling through your hip again. Just a few times. Left foot finds the ground, rolling forward into plank position, full push-up. Knees and forearms drop. And pulling the chest through, upward facing dog. Roll back, downward dog. This time rising the right leg to the sky. Bringing it forward between your hands, drop your back knee. We'll just do 2 pull throughs. So lean back, half splits, pull through. Low lunge, lean back, half splits. Pull through, low lunge, rising your hands to your right knee and pushing into your knee as you push your hips down and forwards. One more time, half splits. And then rising your back knee up into crescent lunge again on this side. You can add a little bit of a back bend here if you'd like, but keep your focus on your hips. Breathing here. And then straightening both legs, folding over your right leg, extended pyramid. This time bringing both toes to face the left side of your mat into a wide-legged forward fold. And you can find whatever hand position works. You can grab the outsides of your feet, pulling your neck down or your back body down. You can reach out in front of you into an extended dog variation. Really whatever feels nice here. And from here, we're going to bring our right heel in at a 45-degree angle and sink into your right heel. So into Skandasana. You can rise your left arm up to the sky. You can keep it at heart center. You might be way up here with your hips. That's totally fine. Everybody's different. But just kind of sinking in as far as you can. And then we'll rise back up into our wide-legged fold variation. One breath here. And then bringing our left toes out at a 45-degree angle and sinking in to Skandasana on the left side, so hands at heart center, or right arm comes up to the sky and stretching open. This time, crawl your hands back all the way to the front of the mat. And you're going to step your left foot behind your right foot, crossing your legs. It looks like this. And just folding into this folded position. Inhaling, rising halfway to lengthen your spine, and then exhaling, folding even deeper over this. Breathing here. And then rising your hands up, overhead. Rising your right leg. So I'm in a balanced position. My knee is towards my chest. Hold it here. And then find a figure 4. So crossing your right foot over your left knee. And bending into your left knee, feeling this hip stretch on the outer right hip. Holy moly, this gets me. Also, it is so hard to remember rights and lefts sometimes when I'm talking, so I might mess up. Just try and follow as best as you can. But sinking into this position as deep as you can bring your hands to the ground if you'd like. You can fold over your leg. And when you're ready, just dropping your foot back to the ground. Rising halfway up, lengthening your spine, and then rolling back down into a forward fold. Hands find the ground. We'll step back and find our vinyasa. So exhaling through a full push-up. On the pause of your breath, dropping your knees and forearms, and then pulling through to upward dog on your inhale. Roll back, downward dog. And rise your left leg. This time bringing it through your hands, dropping your back knee. 2 pull-throughs, so we're reaching back into half splits, pulling forwards into low lunge. Half splits, low lunge, half splits. And this time as you come through, rising your hands onto your left knee, pushing your knee as you push your hips down and forwards. Breathing here. And then reaching your seat back again into half splits and rising up into your crescent lunge. Left or right knee lifts off the ground. Adding a wee back bend if you'd like. And then straightening into both legs. Folding over the left leg. Bringing both toes to face the right side of your mat and find your wide-legged forward fold again. And then we'll just go straight into our Skandasana. So let's tilt our right toes out to the side and lean into our right leg first. Hands at heart center or opened out. And then rising into wide-legged forward fold again. 1 breath here. And sinking into our left leg Skandasana on the left side. We'll just go through that twice more. So back into forward fold. And then into our left side. And back into forward fold. And into our left side. I don't know if I just said left side on the other side, but you get what I'm saying. Crawling your hands back forwards. This time as you get in your runner's lunge position, pulling your right foot outside of your left foot and folding over in your cross-legged variation, left foot in front. Inhaling, rising, halfway lift, long back. Exhaling, folding over your legs. As you rise this time, left knee comes to chest, balancing here, pulling your knee into your chest. And then figure 4, so again, left knee or left foot over right knee, bending into your right knee, and finding your folding figure 4, whatever variation you like. Breathing into the outer hip on your left side. And when you're ready, dropping your left knee back to the ground. We'll do an inhale, halfway lift. Exhale, fold. Inhale, rise all the way up, hands to the sky, little back bend. And exhale, fold to the ground. Planting your hands, stepping back, finding your last full push-up of the day. Knees and forearms drop and pulling through upward dog. And rolling back, downward facing dog. Okay, this time we're just gonna rise our right leg up to bring it into pigeon. So my right knee outside of my right hand, left foot towards left hand. And then as I sit, I'm scooching my left foot back behind me, okay? Before I'm sinking into my pigeon, I'm gonna rise out of my hips here, so engaging the glutes. And just feeling the engagement here. And then slowly lowering down over your hips into your pigeon pose. You can rest your head on the ground or on a block or whatever, a pillow. Breathing into your outer right hip. Starting to settle down. And slowly rising out of this position, we're going to swing our left foot around so that it comes in front of us. And then bringing your heels together, find a diamond pose with your legs. And then just bring your forehead down to the ground as far as you can. Just taking a moment to really be with yourself. This is a very introverted position, blocking out all of the senses. And trying to focus your breath on any points of tension in the body. So it might be in the neck, in the back, in your hips. But wherever you notice that tension in this posture, just bring the attention of your breath to that area. See if you can work your breath into the muscles. It's kind of an obscure idea until you start doing it enough, and then you'll really start to see the benefits. So you can stay here as long as you'd like, or you can rise up, and we'll take pigeon on the other side before finding our Shavasana. So kind of just swinging your right leg back behind you and bringing your hands out in front of your leg. And just kind of wiggle around until you find that comfortable pigeon position on the left side, the left knee outside of your left hand. Remember to rise up first, engaging your glutes, pulling out of your hip flexors here before you slowly roll over and relax into your left hip this time. A lot of yoga is actually about harnessing the power of your breath. And that's something that I didn't do a very good job of going over in this class. Sometimes there's a lot of cues in your head and you get jumbled around and forget what you're trying to say, but when I'm doing a personal practice, I'm really focusing on each movement being linked to a breath. And the way that you can move your breath around your body to unlock areas of tension is really powerful. And to allow your breath to propel your movements starts to make everything a bit more fluid. So if you keep working with me or wherever else you do your yoga practice, I just challenge you to start to notice if you're incorporating your breath. And start to actively try to just bring that into your practice. Okay, so when you're ready, we'll just roll back off of our left hip, bringing our right foot forward. You can do a quick forward fold over your front legs if you'd like, as opposed to your back legs, but you get the gist. I'm just folding over. Really releasing into the back body before we roll our spine all the way down to the ground. Finding your Shavasana here. And I'm just going to leave you here. I know we all have a busy week, so you can stay here for as long as you'd like. Thank you guys so much for joining me. I'd really like to keep practicing teaching, so if you're interested in, getting more videos from me, just let me know. If you have any requests, let me know. Hopefully you enjoyed this today, so thank you. Namaste.